Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Bud, and welcome to Photo Yellow Digital, and welcome to the second episode of an intro to graphic design. As you can see, we're here in one of the programs I mentioned in the last episode, which was Inkscape. So we're here, and I just have a basic logo here for some form of documents company. Basically, today I'm just going to be getting you guys familiarized with Inkscape and just kind of getting also used to the terminology that graphic designers will use. I'm not going to get too in depth in that kind of stuff, but today we're just going to get used to the program and yeah, we're just going to create a small logo like this. I haven't actually used the program a whole lot. I've used Illustrator, and I've actually realized that Inkscape is very similar to Illustrator in some ways, but very different in others. So yeah, let's just get used to some of the tools, and let's start by creating a new, let's just do a desktop. Where is that? There we go. This is all vector, so in case you guys are wondering, I got the question asking if Inkscape was vector like Illustrator or if it was rasterized type editing like Photoshop, which is like pixels, and this is of course vector because most graphic design is using vector. Anyways, let's get into Inkscape. So basically, there's a couple different things you can use. What I always like to do is I like to go into layer, and just you can hit Shift Control L to bring up the layers panel on this right side over here. It's a bit glitchy just because I'm recording and recording audio at the same time. Anyway, so yeah, now we've got this. Basically, there's a couple different tools up here that we're going to be using. We're going to be using the Select and Transform tool a lot. The Edit Paths or the Edit Nodes tool we're going to be using quite a bit. I don't really use this tool a whole lot, or this, because I can just hit Command, minus, and plus to zoom in. We're going to be using the Square tool. 3D boxes, we're not going to be getting too in-depth right now. This we might use as well, equally with the squares and rectangles. But today we're not going to be using, today all we're going to be using is this one and this one for the design. But we're just going to be kind of testing a bunch of these. So this is another tool right here. We're not going to be using a whole lot of these tools. We're just going to be using mainly this selection tool, the node tool, the square tool, the circle tool, and this is like the Bezier curves, or the Photoshop equivalent of the pen tool. So basically, let's go into this because this is how a lot of designs are created. Basically, you can drag. If you click and drag, it creates a curved line. And then if you just click normally, it just creates like normal, just straight lines. You can do kind of cool lines like that, and then you can go into like the node editor and move around certain nodes, or you can even like adjust how curved the lines are and stuff. So yeah, as you can see, Inkscape does a lot of what Illustrator would do, and it's actually quite easy to do a lot of what Illustrator would do as well in Inkscape. But that's not what we're going to be doing today. So today we're going to be starting off by creating this kind of logo, which is basically just a piece of paper with a fold in it and some lines and stuff. So basically how we're going to start this off is we're going to go into our rectangle tool over here, and we're going to just hold and drag, and it doesn't really matter how large it is right here. You can hold Control if you want to get a perfect square. That's what I'll do. We're going to go into the Select tool, and here's some really important and handy information. As you can see, there's some scaling tools. If you want rotate tools, just click on it one more time. This will bring up some skewing and let's see, okay, and some some of this. So we're gonna make like a default paper size. So let's do about like a little bit wider, like that, okay? And so to get different colors and stuff inside, the easiest way that I found the most useful is down here they have kind of swatches of all the different colors at the bottom here. I'm going to be going with, I'm not going to be using the same yellow I used in the other one. Let's do kind of a lighter red. Yeah, let's do, that's a little bright. Let's do something like this. So we have our paper, and we're going to make sure we're going to be using just one layer the whole time. So we're going to do that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the rectangles and squares. We're going to drag, but we're not going to do a random shape like this. We're going to hold Control to make sure we get a perfect square. And then once we have the perfect square, what we're actually going to do is we're going to scale it up to be roughly half the size of this piece of paper. So it is pretty much roughly half the size. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click to get the rotate options and rotate, and we want it to be an exact angle, so we're going to hold control, which will give us, as you can see, it gives us just perfect angles. So we're going to do right here, so it's like a diamond, and we're actually going to, just so we can tell the difference between the two, just kind of change the color to a darker red. Let's do something like that. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're just going to move these two edges to line up perfectly with the edges of the actual box, and we can do that better by just using our arrow keys. Perfect. As you can see, that's lined up very well. We can just scale out a bit. So now what we're going to be doing is we're in the first layer, and a lot of people didn't know how to kind of bring layers to the front and do different kind of clipping masks and stuff in the same layer. It's a little bit harder to do it in the same layer, but for this kind of stuff I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So we're first going to start off by selecting small square, then hold shift and select the top square. Just have both selected. Go to path up here and then do division, and that's basically going to create this own shape right here, which we can darken a bit, and this shape right here. So now in order to get the effect that the page is folded up like that, what we're going to do is we're going to take, sorry, my computer's really slow when I'm recording. So we're going to take this, and we're just going to rotate it by holding control again till we get a perfect, as you can see, it's perfectly behind. Now what you do is you select this big square right here, you go up into this layer up here, and these are like different, these are the bring to bottom or bring to back, move down, raise, and raise to the top. So we're just going to move this down to the bottom, and as you can see, we got the paper with the kind of fold effect. Now I'm going to change this color to something a little brighter maybe. Then I'm going to change this to something a little bit brighter. There, just like that. So that looks pretty good, I think. Now what we can do, all we have left is just the lines in the paper. So what we're going to do to create that is we're going to go into our rectangle tool once again, and we're just going to drag out a rectangle, and as you can see, it's already creating the sizes that that we want, or the color I mean that we want. So then what we're going to do is we're going to select this, and we're going to hit Control C, Control V, and just copy it and line it up as best you can. Actually going to move that down a bit, and we're just going to kind of duplicate that. For this, it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. Again, as I said, like you can make these perfectly aligned just by using the arrow keys and stuff, but I'm not super worried about that. Let's just bump this up, just have a little bit of consistency, and we'll do one more line down here. As you can see, these aren't lined up at all, and that would annoy me if it was something professional, but it's not. This is just for a tutorial sake. So now what we're going to do to get the shorter lines, so we're going to line it up and just use this selection, or this kind of like lengthen tool or whatever, the scale tool, and we're just going to scale it down to be about that. I'm going to copy and paste, move this underneath, and just like I have in this one right here, we have the bigger box at the bottom. So we're going to go and just take this and maybe bump it down a notch, and then just use that scale tool again to just scale it down. Just like that. So that's how you kind of create the basic. This is like a paper folded up. What we're going to do is we're just going to select the paper here, and you can scale it down as much as you want, but we're just going to hold control and scale it down just so it keeps the size constraints, and move it over just a little bit to the side. You can hold control to get that perfectly aligned, I think. Yeah, good enough. Then we're going to be going over to the text tool, and we're just going to drag a text. Let's just call this the same as I have on the other one. Photo yellow digital. Oh man, it's slow typing. Documents. And I believe you can set it to like a sans serif or whatever kind of font you want. I'm going to change it to one of my personal favorites, if it's going to work here. Okay, so we're going to move it up to Euro Steel. I think that's how you say it. I've noticed the font side in the font panel in this program is kind of glitchy, as you can see. I don't know, it glitches up, and then it, like, after it's done glitching, it works perfectly. Oh, there it is, we just passed it. Okay, so we're gonna move down till we find, did I pass the E's? Oh, right here. Okay, Euro steel. Perfect. And I'll move this a little more together. Okay, now what you can do is you can just scale this up as if you want. This is all vector again, so it's all good if you scale it. That won't cause any pixelation. So yeah, that's basically how you would create a basic kind of logo like this. I'm just gonna move this one up one there. So this has basically been how to just create a basic logo, just kind of getting used to the different tools in Inkscape, and just showing you how easy it is to make sort of a professional-ish looking logo, kind of simplistic. I could see that being used on an app or on a basic website. So yeah, once again, my name is Bud. This is Photo Yellow Digital. Thank you guys for tuning into the second episode of an intro into graphic design. Make sure you comment if you liked, and comment different logo ideas or suggestions that you have for me, and I will make sure I touch on those in the next episodes. So yes, once again, my name is Bud. This is Photo Yellow Digital, and now, as always, have a good day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.